So this is Mike. He is a freelance video creator just like myself. He's in 2 bands.
One that pays. And I hired Eric to do 2 music videos for us.
Because he cannot perform and shoot the videos simultaneously. And we shot them both on this C70. So we're gonna talk about the experience of shooting music videos with this camera.
So Mike is like quite literally the face of Celtic punk. I mean, at least according to Spotify. The second video we'll cover is for the Rumjacks, which he recently joined as the frontman. But the first video is for his Boston project, Mickey Rickshaw.
I know, okay? I know. The cables are awful.
He's going to edit this footage, but last night I just made a quick timeline of selects so I could review just kind of how the shots looked. And I can already tell there's some things in here that I love, and there's a thing or two I wish I did differently. This one was all handheld with the speed booster, which I just bought. And it turned the 50mm into a, it says it right here, 36, F1, 36mm. It makes it a full frame field of view. By
Focal reducer.
Yeah, so it reduces the focal length, but it also gives you an extra stop of light.
That's wild.
So a lot of stuff in this is F1.
Oh my God.
So the focus was
like this, this thin. Like,
so I was constantly switching between face tracking autofocus, regular autofocus, and manual.
so that's almost just a way of just operating the camera, is relying on the focus modes switching as just part of the use.
Yeah, so I have these 2 custom buttons on the front, 11 and 12. They are face tracking on and off and autofocus on and off. I was constantly playing that game of which of these 3 modes is gonna best serve me in this moment. With the focal reducer, you can see it right here. See this box? That's the area of the frame where autofocus works, because that's the Super 35 frame. So that was an interesting thing I learned.
Dude, this
while
camera's
using this.
sick. That's why you keep doing videos about it, because it's awesome.
What I was going to do, what my plan was to jack up the shutter speed, or the shutter angle, so that it was crisper, and it had a lot of kinetic energy, but it didn't have a lot of motion blur. And in the rush of setting up everything on set, I completely forgot. So we shot this at 180-degree shutter. I was going to change it, and
I didn't know that yet. He hasn't been paid yet. So,
so I fucked up. I did enable the IS in the camera. I think it took away some of the small micro jitters, maybe in the 50. So the movement you get is the handheld shake I wanted, not like DSLR shake. Yep. I brought my 2 120Ds as backlights, and we just used the overcast day as the key light. So we just opened up the bay door. They had 3 types of house lighting. Overhead lights, 2 different like workbench lights that were really warm, that were like single tubes. And we turned one on the left. And that adds a lot of depth, I think, to the image. I also like the color contrast because these apertures are so blue. There was another workbench light in the way back, and Mike said, let's turn it on. And I said, no. Like
I wanted it on.
I was, the thing is, it was off center, and I liked the symmetry in the wide shot of the 2 120Ds, but we're gonna be using the wide shots for such a small portion of the video, and I wasn't really center framed for most of it, and you were right, we should have done that. There's one shot in here of you hanging the microphone down by the cord that I love.
Yeah.
This shot.
oh yeah, that's cool.
We shot B-roll at the tire shop afterwards, and I'm not sure exactly how you're gonna use that in the edit, how much of it you're gonna use, but we shot most of it at 120. We happened to find a flamethrower on set.
We have learned in the past, we actually did a music video for this same band 5 years ago. Make them do an activity.
It's cringy now to see videos I made a few years ago. I just shot B-roll of the band hanging out. How did I think putting a shot of people sitting in chairs in a room as B-roll was interesting?
I don't know. I think at the time it made sense, but now, so Woody, this like,
oh yeah,
this hard man, who owns a tire shop and well respected, and we put him up in a chair and had him be straight face, and he just.
Holy shit! It looks so good!
Hold me back.
I've been doing the Mackenzie stretches. You know those? Reverses the damage to your spine you do when you sit down all day.
So I want it to be this really kind of like almost gloomy, ghastly sounding song and looking video with a lot of nostalgia and like good memories associated with it.
So there's two styles. There's like the hazy, backlit, more cinematic. Then there's the like Super 8 old-fashioned stuff. My direction was to like frame out the faces, just get the vibe that they're hanging out, drinking, having a good time without really even showing the characters much.
With this specific type of music video, it's not meant to be a story. It's not a narrative. It's just you're capturing a feeling.
For the performance stuff, we borrowed our friend's 300D and we just blasted that through the side window. You can see that's what the actual light rays look like if we hazed it and used natural lighting. So we really had to fake it in the other window. We only filled in your face a little bit with a quasar going into a bounce, so it'd be like really soft.
So we had director / pre-production, producer, DOP. Kevin served as line producer. He helped a lot. He's just an extra set of hands, our buddy Kevin, who...
He also shoots, he directs. Yeah, it's just great to have a knowledgeable film person on set.
So much better than if it was just like a friend that vaguely knew what we were talking about.
Yeah, like he's a video professional.
Expert PA. And then my friend Corral as the stylist. She helped out with wardrobe, makeup. Like, I don't know much about that. I just said, yeah, old vintage dress. And she was like, cool, which one? She brought a bunch.
Yeah, I wouldn't know where to start.
So Corral's a really good photographer. I wanted to almost look like a music video version of a Corral Miles photo. She knew the dancer, she knew the location. So she really had a huge part in all of that.
And this is where they filmed a few scenes from Shutter Island, where Leo lays the kids down there.
Erin McKenzie from Big D and the Kids Table, Doped Up Dollies. That was it. And then Annalise, the dancer. Just want to say that hazer machine I got was like the best investment I've ever made.
I was using autofocus. We didn't rent a follow focus or anything like that. And on the gimbal, I obviously can't pull from the barrel, so I was relying on the C70's autofocus. Being like backlit and technically underexposed, I guess, on the skin, because that's the way I wanted it to look. The camera really struggled.
There's one shot in 120 that the focus is completely out. It was awesome, like I used it.
What was the focus on?
I think it was right here.
Shoop. Nice. So in 120, you lose face tracking autofocus, which is annoying, but it's like totally fine because 120 is so slow that you only need a moment. So as long as you get the focus eventually and you hold it for like a second, then it's gonna end up being 4 seconds and then you have a usable shot. Yep. So I don't really feel the pressure to always nail focus in 120 anyway.
I blew that one out on purpose. I left the exposure way up there. I kind of wanted that look.
I was going between 2 different ND settings, and this was one of those shots where it looked better overexposed with the white just kind of eclipsing everything. Not just because the light seemed like cool and dramatic that way, but also because I didn't want to focus too much on her face. She's not a character. She's kind of there for visual interest.
She got on the ground. She just got in with it.
And the thing that makes this shot, I think, even more dramatic is the fact that I underslung the gimbal. So it's closer to the ground and therefore the movement is really exaggerated. Whereas if I was at like eye level, it wouldn't appear as if it's going like that fast. Skin tone looks so good on that.
I boosted that a little bit.
Oh yeah.
Just how it jumps out of the blue. I mean, like the teal and orange is such a cliche, but that's for a reason.
And that's the way the cookie crumbles.
Is that how you're ending your videos?
That's how I ended my last video.
I know, I saw that. You go, and that's the way the cookie crumbles. Like, that was it? That was it?
I was doing a voiceover and I was like, I have nothing else to say.
It was like a sarcastic ending. Just.
Yeah. Did you think of Anchorman? Oh, not Anchorman, Bruce Almighty. Because I used it incorrectly. It means like you're dealt It means like you're dealt a shitty hand. I think Steve Carell plays an anchor in Bruce Almighty, and that's the way he signs off all of his newscasts.
And that's the way the cookie crumbles.
Or maybe it's Jim Carrey. I forget which character does it.
You know, I think there might be something to this cookie line.
Check out Mike's channel where he talks about songwriting and music stuff. Also, links to the actual music videos are in the description.